John Colloy, DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and in this episode we're going to determine once and for all what's the best juicer for juicing these guys right here. These are the Almighty Cucumber. Oh, Almighty Cucumber, I worship you. And the reason for this video specifically is because of the medical medium. The medical medium Anthony William has been promoting a celery juice. And if you want to know the best juicer for celery juice, I've already done that video, so check the link down below. But aside from juicing straight celery juice, Anthony William also encourages his viewership, his readership, his followers to juice straight cucumber juice. And he's really into some of these straight juices, really just to get the beneficial effects with undilution from other vegetables. The nutrients, so the cucumbers here, they're rich in things like electrolytes and amino acids, as well as probably one of the best sources of hydration on the entire planet. Anthony Williams says it can help your liver and kidneys and all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't really know about that. But what I do know is I know juicers. I'm considered a juicing expert. I have over 500 episodes on this YouTube channel comparing and contrasting different juicers so that you guys get the one for you. And I'm here basically to dispel the myths about juicing and share with you guys my opinions on the juicers. And actually, what is the best juicer, literally, for the cucumbers here? And so I have a number of juicers on the table, as well as one blender, because I'll be talking about that as well. And to introduce them real quick, we have a Vitamix here, which is a blender. A blender is not a juicer. Vitamix will advertise it as making a total juice, and you get the fiber and everything. But Anthony William does not encourage you to drink the blended mixtures. He wants you to get the pure juice, the nutrition without the insoluble fiber, right? Now the soluble fiber the juicers keep, and that's a whole nother topic. I have other videos on that. Anyways, the next juicer up is a Breville juicer, and this is the most common style machine that you may see people use because they are available at most department stores. And it's a high-speed machine. I'm not a big fan of this, and we'll go into this more in detail in a little bit. This is known as the Breville Juice Fountain Elite. Next up, we have the Omega NC800, and this is the juicer I believe Anthony William owns himself based on some of the pictures I've seen him juicing. Or he has an NC900, which is basically just like this model. And then this is the machine I like the most. This is the Omega VSJ843. This is a vertical single auger juicer, and this is a horizontal single auger juicer. And then finally, over on this end here, we have the Green Star Pro. This is like the high-end model, and it makes the highest nutrition, more so than any other juicer we sell at Discount Juicers based on the test data I've seen. That being said, each of these juicers has their own pros and cons. Just like a pair of shoes, you might have one pair of shoes for running, but your flats that are good, or your high heels that are good for like a wedding, are not good for running. They're very terrible at running, although you could do it if you had to run after a bus if you're late and you're wearing your high heels because you're on your way to work. And the juicers are like that, right? You could use one juicer to juice, the cucumbers, even though it might not be the best, but it'll still kind of work. Some juicers, because the cucumber texture can be so soft, and technically, while we consider the cucumber a vegetable, botanically, the cucumber is a fruit because it actually contains seeds on the inside. It's not a vegetable. And the fruits can play particular havoc when juicing, because a lot of the juicers have been literally designed around juicing carrots, which have a lot different texture than a cucumber. So I'll be juicing actually the even amount of cucumbers in 4 of these machines so you guys can see the yields and the results of each one. Now the next thing I want to say is, if you guys are into the medical medium, that means you're probably also into your health. You want to turn your health around from some kind of health condition, and I have come from a similar place. I actually had to make major dietary changes now 23 years ago to turn my health around, and I continue to share with you guys what I do on a daily basis. And I mean, this goes more to me than just juicing. Not only do I juice, not only do I eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, I make fruits and vegetables the dominant part of my diet, but I also grow my own food as well, so I can have every possible benefit. And it's important to me to share with you guys what I've learned over my 23-year-long journey about trying to maximize your benefits. If you're going to juice cucumbers, right, a cucumber juice is not a cucumber juice is not a cucumber juice. Not all cucumber juices are created equal. you know. And so this depends on a few things. Number one, the cucumbers. I want you guys to source the best cucumbers, most nutritious cucumbers you guys could get. The best cucumbers I could get are the ones that actually I grow in my backyard when they're in season, because I know I'm adding all the good things to the soil to grow the highest quality cucumbers, and I'm picking them at the exact proper time, so they're going to be full of nutrition. After that, if you can't grow them yourself, then I would encourage you guys always to purchase organic cucumbers whenever possible. At least they will not be sprayed with pesticides, and based on my research, they are generally higher in nutrition. The other thing I'm going to say is, when selecting cucumbers for juicing specifically, you want to get nice, hard, and firm cucumbers, right? This is a nice, hard, firm cucumber. I'm pressing into it. It's really not denting. I mean, it's not really going to bend that much if I'm trying to bend it. If you get a soft, old cucumber that's like floppy, that thing is not going to juice that well. So number one rule is, if you're juicing cucumbers, get firm fruit. Also try to get ones that are nice, deep green. They're going to have a lot more chlorophyll than others. And then Anthony William recommends actually peeling the cucumbers if you're getting conventional cucumbers, because they are coated with wax that may or may not be vegan, if that is a concern to you, but then also that may get into the juice. The other thing I will say on the cucumbers is that I want you guys to get actually these guys. These are hothouse cucumbers, and generally the hothouse cucumbers will generally, but not always, juice better than the standard cucumbers that may have the wax applied. Many times these hothouse cucumbers or English cucumbers are grown in a greenhouse, so they may have less pesticide residues on them as well. All right. So that's talking about cucumbers. But so number one, try to get the best cucumbers with the most nutrition. That just makes sense, because after you process the cucumbers with the most nutrition, then it depends on the juicer for extracting that nutrition while doing the least amount of damage to the juice that's coming out, right? And that's why I really don't like to use a blender for juicing. A blender is a bad appliance to do juicing, in my opinion, because if you think about it, when you run the blender, right, it's running at a high speed. The Vitamix runs in excess of 200 miles per hour or something, And you basically, when you're blending, you create a vortex. You ever see that vortex in the middle of your blender? It looks like a tornado in Kansas that rips up houses, pops holes in the roofs of Walmart, and throws things everywhere, and even transported Dorothy back to Disneyland. Or was that the Wizard of Oz? Anyways, the power of the tornado, or the tornado inside the Vitamix, is very bad, because it basically oxidizes the nutrients and lower certain nutrients. Minerals are probably not affected by the oxidative damage, but in my opinion, the most important nutrients in the fruits and vegetables are the phytonutrients, phytochemicals. These are like the antioxidant properties that, in my opinion, and based on the research I've done, have a lot to do with us healing or not healing, right? And so that's why I don't like using the Vitamix and then straining it, plus it gets quite messy. And that's the same reason why I'm not a big fan of the Breville high-speed juicer, which is the kind you often see in videos being used. This machine runs in excess of 10,000 RPMs, and when it is running, it injects a lot of air into the juice, which then, oxidizes some of the nutrients, which lowers some of the phytonutrients capacity of the juices. And I'm not just making this stuff up. This is what I believe. And then, just a few years ago, this was proven by journal published Science, that they tested broccoli in like a high-speed juicer and like a slow juicer and even a blender, and they showed that the slow juicer had more of these polyphenol antioxidants. And when they tested these, the mixtures in a petri dish with active cancer cells, they saw the slow juice had a lot more cancer inhibition. So I want you guys to have every possible advantage, and just simply by changing the juicer, you can significantly increase the amount of nutrition you are getting, especially if you guys are going to take the time to do it. Now, that being said, the Breville is a high-speed juicer, so the con of this is that you're going to get a lower nutritional quality, but the pro is that it's going to be done super fast, right? And if you don't have the time to juice, then this might be better than doing nothing. But that being said, I want to encourage you guys to make the time to juice and do other healthy things in your life, right? You are only going to be as healthy as much time as you put into being healthy. And if you try to cut corners and shave off every little last second, and I want to juice fast, you're not going to get all the health benefits, and those little health benefits might be the health benefits that push you over the edge to shed those extra 5 pounds, or to heal. So, you know, from the place I'm at, I always try to better what I'm doing and always do the best, right? And that's where one of the juicers on this side of the table come in. These are known as slow juicers. So unlike the blender that runs in excess of 20,000 RPMs, unlike the high-speed juicer that runs in excess of 10,000 RPMs, the Omega NC800 runs at 80 RPMs or revolutions per minute. So that's like a lot slower extraction. It's not bombarding the broken open cell walls and the nutrients with a lot of oxygen, so you're going to have less oxidative damage. And, you know, in the end, it basically, the juice tastes better. It tastes more rich. It's not as fluffy and full of air. And in my opinion, it's going to be healthier for you. And likewise, this is the Omega VSJ. This is my favorite vertical auger juicer. This runs at 43 revolutions per minute. So that's even slower than this guy. Does 30 odd revolutions per minute make a big difference? I'd say no. These, for the most part, make a similar juice quality. All right. And then over on the end here, we have the Green Star Pro. This one runs at 110 RPMs, and that runs more than either of these, but actually, based on research data I have seen, manufacturer provided, this produces even a higher quality juice, not because the RPMs are more, but because literally it's able to much more effectively get in there and grind up and open up all the cell walls where all the nutrients are, and then they are released then into the juice. Now, each one of these machines have their own pros and cons, and I want to go over them in the juicers anyways. The Breville, it's fast, right? The other thing about the Breville is it actually tends to be very efficient at juicing hard root vegetables, right? It does a great job at root vegetables. It gets the highest yield, maybe except for over the two slow machines here, but the Green Star Pro will probably beat it on the yield. That being said, the negative is the nutritional content is lower, as well as this machine does not effectively juice leafy greens. You put leafy greens in there, they basically come out whole. They're pretty much not getting juice. You're pretty much wasting your money for the most part. On fruits, I mean, it does fruits. It juices fruits fairly well. It aerates it, and it leaves a lot of wet fruit pulp in the end, okay? Then on to the... Oh, and then the other thing about the Breville, it only has a short 1-year warranty, right? Meanwhile, the NC800, actually all these machines on this side of the table, 15-year warranty. So, you know, I want you guys really to invest once in a good juicer, because literally juicing is responsible partly for saving my life and can help save you too. And you want to have a good juicer that's going to be dependable and be around for many years to come. So the NC800 runs at a low RPM, and this style, the horizontal auger, is best for leafy greens. That's something the Breville cannot do. That being said, this machine is not that good at juicing fruits. Softer fruits may tend to back up and jam and not get expelled, but this machine is excellent for juicing fibrous things. So I mean, old mature okra out of my garden, none of these juicers will maybe this guy might handle it, but the NC800 handles it without any issues. And likewise, leafy greens, wheatgrass, sprouts, microgreens, this is the best machine for that. And it will juice carrots and hard root vegetables, but doesn't get as high of a yield as, say, the Green Star Pro on the end. But this would be a good solid machine if you're going to do a lot of different mixes and heavy emphasis on the leafy greens, right? Next, the Omega VSJ 843, 15-year warranty once again, and I like the vertical style because it's kind of like a blend of the fast juicer with the slow juicer. So you have a vertical horizontal, or a vertical auger juicer, and this machine will juice greens just about as well as this guy next door, although you do need to pre-cut them, as well as the celery. And actually the VSJ 843 is the winner, that I declared the winner based on my testing of the celery, best juicer for celery juice. Check that link down below so you can see the whole process and how I came up with this as the best machine. I think basically it saved me 30 seconds of time and made pretty much the same yield as the other machines and is fairly easy to clean. Actually, that's the other thing I like about the NC800. This is the easiest juicer to clean that I found in the world. 80 seconds. This guy takes me 3 minutes, and this guy might take me 5. Now, on this machine, it pretty much juices everything fairly well. You know, it probably, out of all the slow juicers, this juicer is the best one at juicing fruits because they don't tend to get backed up or clogged as much. That being said, you need to select hard, firm fruits when juicing. It'll also juice carrots and other root vegetables just as well as the NC800 in terms of yield. Also, this one is auto feeding. That's something I like a lot. I don't like having to sit there and use the pusher to push each produce item in. I just basically drop the produce in. It literally gravity sucks it in, takes it in, and it juices it at its own speed. Very important not to overfeed any of these machines when you are using them. And then finally, the Green Star Pro. This machine really honestly excels at juicing the root vegetables and other vegetables and leafy greens. It's not the best at juicing fruit. I have a video on juicing fruit in here and how you guys could get away with it and how you guys could juice fruit in here. But if you're juicing a lot of fruit, I would not recommend this. And as I mentioned before, cucumbers are fruit. Although it may juice 1 or 2 cucumbers fairly well, but if you're trying to do high volumes, that's where you might want to get a different machine. This machine is really optimal if you're juicing like a mixture juices. If you're going to straight celery, actually it's quite good. It gets a high yield, breaks up all those celery strings. If you're going to do like carrot, celery, apple, beet, ginger, and put a little bit in each time and some kale mixed in there, this machine is going to be great. And each machine has their own pros and cons. Be sure to check my other videos. I'll put links down below to some of the specific videos on each of these machines so you guys can learn more about them and have comparisons like this machine against that machine, this machine against that machine, all the different comparisons online if you guys want to learn more, all right? So what I want to do next, actually, we're just going to go ahead and get into juicing the cucumbers today. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take 2 of these juicers, juice the same amount of cucumbers in both of them, and show you guys the results, show you guys how much pulp is made, show you guys the process, time the process, and then we're going to go ahead and go on to the other 2, and then at the end, I will be declaring a winner. Alright, so now I'm back, and I have cucumbers evenly weighed out. Basically, we have 1.5 cucumbers, approximately 405 grams, so we get to see how much each juicer yields. And then we'll also see how long each juicer takes to juice, alright? I guess first we're going to start out with a Breville. This is the super fast model, and we're going to use it on the low speed. We're going to hit the start button, and we're just going to put it on. Alright, and that's pretty much it. We can hit stop. That took a total of 21 seconds. I mean, that's super fast. Doesn't get any faster than that. But if you guys could see this, I mean, this is like super aerated juice. Lots of extra oxygen in there, alright? Maybe we'll pour that off first for you guys to see. And we're going to use a sieve here to show how much, pulp is in the juice. It's like, oh yeah, that looks like a good cucumber juice. Well, to me it doesn't. There's lots of separation, definitely lots of foam happening. And if you guys look in the sieve there, it pretty much caught like a lot of foam. Like, I mean, that foam, if it sits here, doesn't look like a whole, maybe there's some pulp in there, but it's mainly just like a lot of foam. So we're just going to go ahead and let that sit off to the side for you guys as we juice in the Omega NC800. Now, unlike the Breville that has a wide feed chute, this feed chute will not accept big cucumbers, so we're just going to go ahead and cut that in half, but we're going to do that while we're timing it because that is part of the process. We have the NC800 set to 5 to allow the most back pressure to get the highest yield, and if it does start to back up, we'll loosen that maybe to like a 1 or a 2, depending on how it goes. Anyway, alright, so let's go ahead and hit start, and let's go ahead and turn the machine on, and we're going to start cutting the cucumbers and feeding them into the machine. So this is crushing up really well. You can see like some of the pulp is kind of hanging out. On this, I'm just pushing like lightly downward force just to kind of get the cucumbers to go into the machine. I'm not like forcing it in. One of the challenges with this style machine, if you try to force things in too quickly, it may cause a lot of back pressure on the screen, causing the screen to break. This can happen especially if you're juicing lots of carrots or leafy greens, things like wheatgrass. So you don't want to like feed things in too quickly with this style machine. As you guys can see, this is working quite well on the number 5 setting. The pulp is coming out and it is actually particularly dry. We're going to go ahead and compare the pulp against the Breville after we're done juicing. Wow, you look at that. Look at on the Breville, like the juice is totally separate. Does that look like a nutritious juice to you? It surely doesn't look like a nutritious juice to me. Now this is taking a while. There's a lot of like built up cucumber pulp that's actually not kind of going in the machine. It's like literally sitting and spinning inside there. So we're just going to go ahead and put that last bit of cucumber in. And we're going to let it run a little bit, right, to maybe hopefully get some of that pulp that's sitting and spinning in the top of the machine to get it to come out. Because as you put produce in, it forces the produce that's first in out. So we're just going to go ahead and hold pressure on the pusher to kind of like force some of the wet pulp in through the machine, which it is kind of accepting in to some extent. And now it's pretty much just all sitting and spinning in the auger. You know, with every juicer there may be some produce that does not get juiced, and you know, I'm gonna have to figure out how long I should keep this running, because after you put the last produce item in, you don't want to just turn the machine off, say I'm done, because juice is still coming out, pulp is still slowly evacuating the juicer, and it is actually still running. I think since it is running a little bit, we're just gonna go ahead and loosen this off to 3, see if we can get some juice, you know, to actually come through the machine. And as you guys can see, the pulp came out a little bit easier. I think that's pretty much it. We could sit here all day, but we're going to go ahead and hit the stop button. And as you guys can see, it took us like literally 2.5 minutes to juice those cucumbers in the Omega NC 800. Let's go ahead and turn that off, and I like to just go ahead and give this a simple tip up, a tip back, just to make sure we get all the juice that was in there. And let's go ahead and to show you guys a comparison of the two yields. I'm not doing ounce measurement tests today, but I do have the exact same cups to show you guys actually a comparison, even Steven, all right? So let's go ahead and put that on there. And look at this juice, man. This juice, way different, all right? So we're pouring this juice through the sieve here. And look at the difference. You guys see the difference in color? This is why I really don't want you guys using a Breville, right? The deeper the pigments, the more nutrition in the juice, right? Which one has more deeper pigments? Which one really got in and broke up the cell walls and extracted the chlorophyll and the other amazing nutrients in the celery? It definitely wasn't the Breville, all right? So anyways, look at that nice, really deep, rich green juice we got from straight cucumbers, all right? Now, comparing the pulp, actually this is interesting. I'm looking at it from the back. And actually the Breville made more foam. It also looks to me that it actually made more pulp in the juice, whereas the Omega NC 800 didn't quite make as much pulp. It did make some pulp. You know, straining it out is optional. You might not have to do that if you don't want to. You can just drink it on up. Nothing wrong with drinking a little bit of pulp. It's a personal preference thing. And then comparing the yields, let's go ahead and take all this stuff away. I mean, definitely, if you're not counting all the foam on this side, the NC 800 actually made more juice than the Breville, and that doesn't surprise me too much. We'll put these over to the side for the rest of this episode so you guys can see how the juice will last. Now I want to show you guys actually the pulp. So the pulp on the NC 800, I mean, this is pretty much the pulp here. It's like broken down really well, and if I squeeze it, I could squeeze some juice out of there, you know. So I'm not going to say it's fully dry. You could actually take this pulp, run it back through the machine, have some patience with it, and you know, you could get a higher extraction of juice from that pulp. Meanwhile, over on the Breville side here, we could dump this pulp bin out. And if we look at that, look what came out of the Breville, all right? So we have some pulp that kind of looks like the NC 800 pulp that's broken down. But if we squeeze it, it's a lot more wet, man. It's like really inefficient. And then if we look even further at this, there's literally whole chunks of cucumbers that did not get juiced. Like, you know, a juicer is supposed to juice, not like leave big chunks of skin that aren't being juiced, you know. And so this is one of the reasons why I believe the Breville's not as good, because literally all the green in this skin that literally just got shoved out of the machine without getting juiced, it's not in your juice. It's going down basically the garbage when you're done, or the compost, hopefully, right? And so, yeah, I guess time-wise, yeah, the Breville, hands down, 21 seconds. Nutrition-wise, between the Breville and the NC 800, I gotta say the NC 800 made a much higher quality juice, and also was more effective at juicing the cucumbers than the Breville. Next up, let's go ahead and juice with the VSJ 843 and the Green Star Pro. Alright, so now I'm all set up and ready to juice with the Greenstar Pro and the Omega VSJ843. Same amount of cucumbers, 405 grams. Anyways, let's go ahead and first juice in the Greenstar Pro. Sometimes this machine may back up. I have this set on the most tension on the outlet adjusting knob, but as it's going I may tend to loosen this if I see pulp coming back up at me. Anyways, this one has a smaller features. I'm going to have to probably even cut the cucumber into quarters, like lengthwise, alright? So I guess with that, let's just go ahead and hit start. And let's do it. Alright, I was able to cut the cucumbers in half thus far, and as you guys can see, it's working really great. Now it does take a little bit of downward force to push the produce into the gears. This is especially difficult if you are juicing something like carrots or other root vegetables. The cucumbers are not super hard to push in. I think I could probably do it with like one finger. I do prefer to use the wooden pusher on the Greenstar Pro here. Now the interesting thing is I've put almost all the cucumbers except for this last one in. And this one is a little bit tight going in because it barely fits the feed chute. So it's having to take a bit more pressure to push it out in. But as you guys can see, like there's literally no pulp has come out of the machine yet. It's all like literally stuck inside there. Oh, we got one dribble of pulp come out of the machine so far. And inside the machine, if you were here to look at it, I see some pulp kind of like, it's getting sucked in actually. So I don't really see any pulp in there. Sometimes, once again, just like the other slow juicers, once you put the last produce item in, it may need to run just a little bit more to get a full extraction. It looks like we're pretty much done. It's pretty much just dripping at this point. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And basically, we got very little pulp out of the machine. We got this much pulp out, and this pulp that came out, I can press it, and it just mushes. There's literally like no juice left inside there. Next, let's go ahead and take our next cup and our next sieve and funnel to see how much juice it created, alright? And how much pulp it put in the juice. Now I like to tip this guy up and back and see if we get any more juice out of it. And we'll put this guy so that we don't get any drips, alright? And here is the cucumber juice out of the Greenstar Pro. Wow, look at that, man. This thing beat them all. Oh man, I forgot to turn off the time. So I've been screwing around. I don't know if you guys can see the time. It was elapsing, but we'll flash up, we'll pop up the time it totally took. Right now it's reading 2:41, which I think, you know, I was screwing around with some stuff. Probably took like maybe a little bit over 2 minutes is my best guess. But this juice even looks darker than the NC800 juice. And so far, so good, alright? So I guess last, let's go ahead and reset the stopwatch, and let's go ahead and juice now in the Omega VSJ843, alright? So we're going to hit the start and go. VSJ843 really nice. You just basically cut the produce in half, and as you guys can see, it sucks it in on its own so that you don't have to really push it. Well, sometimes you might have to give it a little bit of helping, but for the most part it's auto-feeding. Give it a little bit of pressure, but I'm not pushing on it, I'm just ensuring that it actually goes down properly, alright? Super simple, super easy. Still in there, and it's out of the chute. Now drop in another piece. As you guys can see, this is like a mixture, so it's like the Bremel, it's where it's like faster than the other slow juicers, but you're gonna still get a high quality juice. It does the feeding for you, and I think actually, geez, we're under a minute now so far. You know, we're gonna let the machine run a little bit more because juice is still flowing out, but so far this has been the fastest slow juicer to use. Oh, I see a little bit of cucumber that actually didn't go in there. So we're going to play with it, and it looks like we got that in the machine. We're going to let that run a little bit longer. This may be adding some extra time, so if I was paying more attention, I could have shut this machine off right about now. But I want to make sure I get every last bit of juice because we are comparing the yields, all right? So we're just going to go ahead and tip that guy up, and I think we're probably about done juicing. We're just getting drips now, all right? Turn this off, and I can say we're probably about 1.5 minutes, all right? Next, let's go ahead and see how much this juicer yielded. Alright, so now if we're looking at the pulp, we can see a little bit of pulp in the VSJ and actually less in the Green Star Pro, alright? And this is the color of the juices. Maybe we'll move this out of the way, and we'll give you guys a close-up on all these juices so you guys can see what's going on. So now I want to go ahead and give you guys a close-up on the juice yields, and also I want you guys to pay particular attention to the color of the juices, alright? So first, over on the Breville juice, I mean, you could see the separation. I mean, this is why I don't recommend a high-speed machine. I mean, it might have been done fast, made a decent yield, but look at that, man. You're drinking mostly water. Where is the nutrition in that? You know, and I'd rather drink that instead of chlorinated water. But nonetheless, there are better juicers out there. So NC800 maybe didn't make as much juice considering the foam, but once that foam dissipates, I think it probably made about an equal amount to the Breville. But look at that juice. Look at the color difference in those juices, right? One's dark, deep green, and the other one's just really like almost pea water, all right? And then comparing the NC800 to the Green Star Pro, look at that. I mean, I could tell the difference. I don't know if you guys could tell the difference in the HD camera, but the Green Star Pro juice, it's like a shade darker. Like it's even darker green than the NC800, and it even made more juice, right? I think the Green Star Pro made the most cucumber juice of them all. It actually also did make the most celery juice, for those of you guys that don't remember that episode. And then comparing the Green Star Pro to my favorite, the VSJ 843, man, the VSJ 843 didn't really perform well. I mean, it made less juice, although it was the fastest to use, and the juice is not quite as dark as the Green Star Pro. So, I mean, this is what I say. The Green Star Pro makes the highest quality juice because it really gets in there and grinds up the fibers. Actually, I want to do something real quick. I want to go ahead and take the Green Star Pro out of it and just compare the colors of the VSJ 843, which is on this side here, and the NC800. And those, to me, look fairly similar. They're about the same color. Maybe the NC800 maybe a tad darker, but for the most part, they're the same. And you guys can see the difference in the yields there. The NC800 actually was more efficient on cucumbers, which actually surprises me. Alright, so now that you guys saw the yields, I want to compare the pulp actually on the VSJ 843. This is what the pulp looks like on the VSJ 843. And if we take it out, we could squeeze it, and it's still fairly wet actually. One of the things I like to do on the VSJ 843 is just take this pulp and run it back through the machine, turn the machine back on. It'll actually run through the juicer and then get the pulp a little bit drier. The other thing about the VSJ 843, there may be a lot of remnant pieces in the machine that actually did not get juiced, which is why there's less yield. And that's why at the end of juicing on the VSJ 843 vertical juicers, I do encourage you to have a sacrificial lamb or sacrificial piece of produce. Like I'll put some carrot in there or something, and that'll help push all the cucumber that's in there through the machine to get it, the juice out. Another story on the Green Star Pro made the least amount of pulp. That's because most of it is in the machine and it's probably super dry. We go ahead and take this machine apart. I can show you the twin gears, and the pulp that's stuck inside that really didn't get ejected is really just squeezed out, wrung out. This is why this machine is much more efficient than the others that you guys saw today. Now, let's talk about cleaning, right? Cleaning is another big factor on a juicer. Cleaning may take more or less time. So, You know, in terms of cleaning the slow juicers, the NC800, which did a good yield, will take you the least amount of time. That takes me about 80 seconds, although you saw the juicing time was the most. The VSJ843 had the least juicing time at about a minute and a half, and that guy takes me about 3 minutes to clean. Super simple, super easy. And then the Greenstar Pro, that was actually second in terms of, for the slow juicers, in terms of juicing speed. Took under 2 minutes, so 1 minute and 50 seconds to juice, and actually made the most juice and the most nutritious juice. But this guy might take me, you know, several more minutes to clean, maybe like, I don't know, 5 minutes to clean, just due to all the parts and some of the passageways and whatnot. So I guess what I want to do next is actually try the juices, see if I can share with you guys my impressions of the juices, if they taste any different than one another, and then also I'm going to get into declaring the winner of this juice-off comparison today. Alright, so first we're going to start with the Breville juice. Look at that, man, fully separated. This is, once again, man, I'm not a big fan of the fast juicers. I only use them when I'm making demos like this. Alright, I got a mouthful of foam. That did not taste good. If we get under the foam, we drink the pea water. I mean, it just kind of tastes like water, not too good. I mean, I personally could taste the oxidative damage. Next up, the NC800 juice. Nice, deep, and green like it should. That's a good cucumber juice, oh my god. I mean, I wish you guys were here, those of you guys that use the Breville, and you're probably thumbs down this video because I'm talking, you know, against the Breville and the high-speed machines. You guys got to taste the difference. Use a slow juicer, make it side by side like I just did, and taste the difference. I'm not lying to you guys. This one tastes horrible. You wouldn't want to drink it either. Alright. Greenstar Pro juicer. Once again, most yield and deepest color. More nutrition. Wow, so far I think I like that juice the best. I mean, it's just solid. I taste the water from the cucumber, a little bit of cucumber flavor, super good. And then finally the VSJ843, my favorite juicer that didn't perform too well this time, which I thought would do better. I mean, I'm going to say the VSJ and the NC800 juice taste about the same, and the Greenstar Pro juice, you know, probably tasted the best, actually, to me personally, alright? And so with the taste test, I'm going to have to declare the winner of this juice-off. As you guys remember, in the celery juice-off, the VSJ won because it actually took less time and made almost as much yield as, you know, say the Greenstar Pro and, you know, as the other machines did, basically. In this video, it's totally different, and this surprised me. I would have not guessed this. Actually, I got to declare the winner of the Greenstar Pro in this situation. Not only did it make more juice, it only took, you know, maybe 20 seconds faster. It was 20 seconds, you know, slower, sorry, than the VSJ843. Although the cleaning time will take you guys more, it did make more yield and, you know, put out the driest pulp, which is actually quite impressive. Now, once again, you guys got to juice hard, firm cucumbers. You know, when juicing lots of cucumbers in this machine, more than this much ounces of juice, you may start getting backups, so you will have to turn that outlet adjusting knob to let some of the pulp out, you know, depending. You know, in this test, it worked totally great, and, you know, I'm sad to say the VSJ did not perform well. But nonetheless, you know, I like the VSJ overall for a juicer that could juice a wide variety of things. That's going to work fairly well, fairly quickly when juicing, and actually also fairly easy to clean. And that's why I use it, alright? So, yeah, if you want to purchase any of the juicers that were demonstrated today, be sure to check the links down below. I would encourage you guys to support me and my work so I can continue to pay my light bill, buy my cucumbers, make my juices, and more importantly, make these videos for you guys to share with you guys the truth about juicers. You know, I represent all the major brands, and I don't care which juicer wins. I'm just here to show you guys what actually happens so that you guys don't actually have to buy the juicers and run all these experiments yourselves and find out you got the wrong one. You guys can make an informed decision based on the results that I'm getting in my episode. So hope you guys appreciate that. If you guys do, hey, please purchase your juicer from Discount Juicers. This allows me to continue to pay my light bills and make these videos, which I enjoy making and enjoy being playing scientist here. And I want to let you guys know that we have a price match policy. So if you should find one of the juicers we sell for a lower price, I would encourage you guys to support me at the full price. That just allows me to continue to do my work more efficiently. But if you feel that you need to save that extra $5, we do have a price match policy. We will match any other authorized retailer with the item in stock. Their full delivered price to you. We will honor that. So just go ahead and click the contact link down below in the description. Shoot me an email and say, hey John, I found it at this website, and send me the link. I'll verify it and send me your address so I can verify their delivered price to you, and I'll be glad to match that for you guys, all right? So I don't want to lose out a sale just for a couple dollars, right? Because hopefully I've enriched your life with this video, and hopefully you'll maybe float the sale my way. And aside from just making the videos like this, which is like the education work I do pre-sale, I'm also there for you guys after the sale. Many people don't understand this. If you're having challenges with Omega or Tribest getting warranty service, Amazon could care less. Maybe I shouldn't say Amazon, but they're just a big company. I'm here. I'm personally, I juice like every day. I drink these juices. I know the difference it can make, and I'm here to support you after the sale. So should you have problems with getting warranty service from Tribest or Omega, right? Let me know the situation. I'll contact my rep at the respective company and make sure you guys get taken care of, because the companies that I work with, they want to make sure that I get taken care of because I'm an important customer to them, and like you guys are to me, and I want you guys to be able to juice, as uninterrupted as possible. Plus, these machines have long warranties. So I want to thank you guys once again for supporting me so I can continue my work to educate people about the fresh fruits and the fresh vegetables and how powerful they are. Anyways, if you guys like this medical medium episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. This will encourage me to do more medical medium juices. Should he come out with any more straight juices, and I'll do comparisons to show you guys actually the best juicer that you guys could possibly use for that particular juice. Because every comparison I do with a different produce item, it may favor one or another juicer, and the only way you guys are going to know is if I do a video like this. So thumbs it up. Also be sure to share this video with other people on a medical medium protocol so they could learn the best juicer that they might want to buy, so that they don't use the high speed machine and literally get the pea water colored juice, and instead they get a more nutritious juice like the juice out of the Green Star Pro. Share it on Facebook, share it on the Instagram, share it on the different groups you guys are involved with. That's much appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know what new juicer, what new appliance, what new vacuum blender, and maybe even a freeze dryer one of these days I'll be testing or sharing with you guys so you guys can get the most nutrition out of the fruits and vegetables that you guys are eating. And also be sure to click that little bell so you get notified of my episodes. If you don't click the bell, you won't get notified even though you are a subscriber. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I'll put a link down below to the video I did on medical medium, best juicer for juicing celery, so you guys can see that if you guys want to. Also be sure to check my other videos where I compare juicers head to head, side by side, juicing many different items so you can see how each juicer will respond in that situation, as well as in many of my videos I take apart the juicer, show you all the different parts, show you guys what you need to clean, show you guys how to assemble, how to disassemble, all that kind of good stuff, alright? With that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.